In this video, I will be creating a viewer requested Windows Setup Automation package. I'm starting this video from my GitHub page, and that's because there are a few bits of information here that I will be using for this video, and I will leave the URL in the description down below. And here you can see the request. The first part in here is for creating Windows 11 installation USB drive using Rufus. And this means that this video will be a bit different, because not only that I will need to create a provisioning package to set up Windows, but also I will need to automate the Windows installation itself. And the next requested action is to auto-join devices to Intune, and this one I will not be able to implement because I don't have the environment for it. Most likely I will make a video about it in the future, but for now you will need to solve it yourself. From my understanding, it should not be hard because there is an action to join devices to Intune in Windows Configuration Designer. Anyways, next the provisioning package needs to create a local administrator's account, set the computer name, and then we have few software packages to install. So we need to install Office 365, Notepad++, 7-Zip, Adobe Reader, Zoom, and then any antivirus. In this case I will be installing Avast. And then we have another action that I will not be including in this video, because I'm not sure if I understand it correctly. It says include drivers for Dell and Lenovo devices in the USB ISO. You can add main drivers like network, mouse, system, and system management. And I think that he's talking about driver slipstreaming, but I'm not 100% sure because of the words that he's using in the request. And I do plan to make a video about driver slipstreaming in the future, because currently I'm making videos about DISM, and that's one of the topics. So you will be able to combine this video with that one for the full solution. Anyways, next we need to encrypt the provisioning package, disable the out-of-the-box experience. Then we have another action that I don't really understand, and that's to create a folder containing custom wallpapers. So I will be deploying few wallpapers using this provisioning package, but I'm not 100% sure if that's the result that he wants. And the last step is that the provisioning package needs to contain a Windows product key. And then he talks about what interactions he wants to have during the provisioning process. Basically, he wants to press F12 to start Windows installation, and then to enter a password before executing the provisioning package. And this is the default behavior when you're combining AutoNet file with a provisioning package. That means that I don't need to implement anything in here. Anyways, let's go back to the GitHub page, and here you can see all the actions that I will be automating for this provisioning process. And first I will be using AutoNet file to automate steps in Windows installation. This will prepare the partitions and then install Windows 11 Pro from the Windows image that I will have in my USB drive. And then we have actions that will be executed by the provisioning package in the out-of-the-box experience. So first it will disable out-of-the-box experience, then it will change the computer name to sitecode-computer serial number, then it will enter Windows license key, and then it will execute a PowerShell script called ubisetup ps1. This will create an admin account, move files from the provisioning package to a provisioning folder on the computer. Then it will configure run once to execute another PowerShell script called desktop provisioning ps1. And then it will disable the PriveX experience menu so that we have no user interactions during the computer provisioning. And then we have actions that will be executed in the user's desktop by the PowerShell script desktop provisioning that we configured in here. And this will wait for network connection, and after the network connection is detected, it will install VMware tools. And this was not in the request, but I will be demonstrating how this package works in a virtual machine. And VMware tools will allow me to demonstrate everything in full screen, because without it, the virtual machine screen is very small and it's very hard to see what's going on. And after that, the script will install wallpapers, and I'm using a word install because I like to create executables for file deployment, because it's a very easy method. Then the script will install Office 365, 7-Zip, Notepad++, Zoom, Adobe Reader, and then Avast antivirus. And that's basically it for all the actions that I will be automating in this video. And now I will be preparing the files that I need for this package, and first I want to show you my downloads folder, because I already prepared few files, so VMware Tools installation executable, and then I have this wallpapers folder that contains few images. So basically this is my starting point. And now I will be downloading all the files that I need to create Windows installation USB drive. So for that I will go back to my GitHub page, because here I have all the download links that I will be using. So here I will click on Windows 11. This brings me to the Windows 11 download page. Scroll down a bit where we can download the ISO image. So here I will select Windows 11, then I will click on download now. Then in here we need to select our language. I will be selecting English United States. Then I will click on confirm. And now we need to wait a bit more and we can click on 64-bit download. Then we can close this window. Next I will be downloading Rufus, so I'll click on it, go to this page and then click on the download link for portable version because I don't want to install it. I will click on the executable and the download should start. Next, for the USB drive, we also need auto.10 file that I have here in the GitHub page. So it's here, as you can see, this is an XML file. Here we have the partition configuration for Windows installation, and then we're selecting to install Windows Pro image. To download this file, I will click on the button right here and then go back to the main page. And then I will go to my downloads folder and wait for Windows 11 image to finish downloading. And now that I have my Windows 11 ISO image, I will be creating the USB drive. And for that I will execute Rufus. I will click yes here and no in here. And first we need to select the USB drive. So I will select this one. And then we need to provide our ISO image. So I will click on select, go to my downloads folder and select the Windows 11 ISO image. I will click on open. We need to wait a bit. And now we can click on start. Here I will remove all of the selections. You can keep some of them, but I don't need them for this video. Then I will click OK and then OK once again. And now we need to wait for the USB drive to be created. And now that I have my USB drive, I will close this window. And then I will remove all the unnecessary files from my downloads folder. I don't need Rufus anymore, I don't need the Windows installation ISO image, and also I don't need these files that were created by Rufus. So I will remove all of them. And now I will move the auto.10 file to the USB drive. So I will right click on it, select cut, go to the USB drive and I will move it to the root directory. This will automate the Windows installation. Then I will go back to my downloads folder and now I will be creating an executable for the wallpapers that I have in here. And for that I will be using 7-zip. So I will select all the files that I have in here, right click on them, go to 7-zip, then I will click on add to archive. And here we need to select create SFX archive. And this will create an executable that is self-extracting archive. So I will click on it and click on OK. Then we have this executable. I will right click on it, select cut, go back to my downloads folder and I will insert the executable here and also I will remove the folder. And now in my downloads folder I have the executable for installing VMware tools and also the wallpapers. Next I will go back to my GitHub page and I will be downloading the software installation packages. So first I will start with Office Deployment Tool. This is for Microsoft 365 installation. Here I will click on this download button and close this tab. Next I will be downloading 7-zip. So let's go in here and I will be downloading the 64-bit edition. So I will click on this download button, close this window. Next I will be downloading Notepad++. In here I will click on this green download button and go back to the GitHub page. Then it's Zoom. We need to wait a bit for this page to load. And here we need to select the 64-bit MSI installer. So I'll click on it, go back to the GitHub page. Then let's download Adobe Reader. In here we need to select the operating system. So I will select Windows 11. For the language, I will select English, and then for the version, I will select the only one that is available. Then I will click on Download Acrobat Reader, and then go back to the GitHub page, and the last one is the Avast Antivirus. So I will click on this link, and then on this free download button. And when the download starts, I will close all of my tab windows that I have here in Chrome, and go back to my downloads folder. And now in my downloads folder, once again, I will be using 7-zip to extract the files from this Office Deployment Tool executable. So I will click on 7-zip and then I will select extract to in this folder right here. So I'll click on it, then I will close this window. I don't need the executable anymore, so I will remove it. Then I will go inside of this folder. I will right click on this setup.exe executable, select cut, go back, and then I will insert setup.exe into this folder. And I don't need this folder anymore, so I will remove it from the downloads folder. And now I have all the software installation executables in my downloads folder. Now, next I need the PowerShell scripts and also the Office installation configuration file. And I have all of that here in my GitHub page. This config.xml file is the Office installation configuration file. This is my personal one that I use. So this is not important for the package. This is like a sample. So I will click on the button right here to download it and go back to the GitHub page, because here we need the PowerShell scripts, the ubi setup ps1 and also the desktop dash provisioning ps1. Let's start with ubi setup ps1. This is the main PowerShell script that will be executed by the provisioning package. And this script first will create a local administrator's account without a password. After that, it will move files from the provisioning package to a provisioning folder on the computer. Then we have few registry settings. The first one is to configure run once to execute a PowerShell script called desktop provisioning. This is for the software installation. And the second registry entry is to disable the privacy experience so that we have no interactions during the provisioning process. So to download this snippet, let's click on the button right here and go back to the main page, because in here we need a second script called desktop provisioning. I will open it. And this script right here, in this case, is mainly for the software installation. And this script first will wait for the network connection. And after that, here you can see all the packages that it will be installing. So here you can see the installation for VMware tools. Here you can see the installation for wallpapers. And if you want to change the directory where the wallpapers are installed, you basically need to enter the location in the highlighted area right here. And then you have the all other software installation information. So Office 365, 7, zip Notepad++, and all others. And the snippet right here will go through all of the objects that we have in here and execute the installation one by one. Anyways, let's download this snippet by clicking on the button right here. And then let's go back to the downloads folder. And now I have all the files that I need for the provisioning package. So I will go to Windows Configuration Designer. Here I will click on File and New Project. I will name the project package. Then I will click Next. Next. Here I will select all Windows Desktop editions. Next, and then Finish. I will start by disabling the out-of-the-box experience. So I will expand runtime settings. And here I will select UBI. Then for hide UBI, I will select value true. Next, I will be configuring the computer name, and for that I need to go to Accounts, Computer Account, and here we need to select Computer Name. And for the computer name, I will go back to the GitHub page, because here I have the line that I will be using. This basically will set it to DK dash, and then we'll use computer serial number for the computer name. So I will click on the button right here to copy this line, go back to the configuration designer and insert the line in here. Next, I will be providing the Windows license key, and for that we need to go to additional upgrade and then change product key. Once again, I will go to my GitHub page and I will copy the license key from here. And this is a KMS key that is publicly available. So I will click on the button right here and go back to the package and insert the line in here. And the last step is to package all the files that I have in my downloads folder inside of this provisioning package and configure script execution. So for that, I will go to provisioning commands and then device context. Here I will click on command files and click on browse. Then I will go to my downloads folder. I will select all files that I have in here and click open. As you can see, the files appeared in here. Now I can click on add and the files appeared inside of the package. Next, for script execution, I will click on command line, go back to my GitHub page. And here I have the line that I will be using. This is to execute the ubi setup ps1 script. I will click on the link right here to copy this line and then go back and insert the line in here. And that's basically it. Now we can generate the package, and for that I will go to Export, Provisioning Package, and then click Next. Here I will click on Encrypt Package and then enter a password, because this was requested in the request. Next I will click on Next, Next, and then Build. Now we need to wait a bit for the package to build. And now I will click on the output location. And here we only care about the file that is called package.ppkg. I will right click on it, select copy, then I will go to the USB drive with Windows installation and insert the package in here. And now in my USB drive I have the auto.10 file that is responsible for automating Windows installation, and package.ppkg that is responsible for provisioning software and computer settings. And the last step is to test this USB drive and see how it works. And for that I will go to my VMware workstation where I have this empty virtual machine, and I will be installing Windows from the USB drive inside of this virtual machine. And the only thing that I need to do is to connect the USB drive to this virtual machine. So I will go to VM, Removable Devices, select the USB drive that I want to connect and click on Connect. And now the last step is to restart this virtual machine. So I will go to Power and then restart Guest. Now after restarting, it should boot from the USB drive and start automated Windows installation, and before starting the provisioning process, it should ask us for the package password. And Windows installation is over. Now to start the provisioning process using the provisioning package, we need to enter a password as it was requested here in the request. So I will click here and enter the password. And this should start the provisioning process and install all the software and the configuration. So we need to wait a bit once again and see what's going to happen. And the provisioning process is over. Now I will check if everything that was requested in here is configured under this virtual machine. So the first item in the request was creating a local administrator's account. For that I will open MMC, I will run it as administrator. And then I will add a snap-in for users and groups. So I will go to File, Add Snap-in, and here we are looking for local users and groups. I will add it, finish, and OK. Then I will go to Users, and here in the users we can see that we have the admin user, and in the groups we can go to administrators group, and here we can see that this user is a member of administrators group. Next item in the list is to set the computer name. So I will go back to the virtual machine, open a CMD window, and in here I will type host name. And as you can see here, we can see the prefix DK, and then we have the computer serial number. This is not a full serial number because in this case the virtual machine has a very long serial number that is too long for the computer name. Anyways, the next item in the list is installing software packages. So installing Office 365, Notepad++, 7-zip, Adobe Reader, Zoom, and then antivirus. So going back to the virtual machine, let's open Control Panel. And then in the Control Panel, I will click on Uninstall a program. And here we can see 7-zip, Adobe Reader, Avast Antivirus, Microsoft Office, and then Notepad++, and also Zoom. And everything seems to be fine in here. Next item is to deploy wallpapers. So wallpapers should be in C Program Data provisioning folder. So let's open a File Explorer window and let's enter in here C Program Data and then provisioning. And here we have the executables for the software, and also we have the software folder, wallpaper folder, where I have few pictures inside. So this was also executed correctly. And the last item is to enter Windows product key. And for that, once again, I will go back to the virtual machine, and this time I will open settings application. And then somewhere in system, I think we can check the activation status. I think it's in the about, and then we can click on product key and activation. And here we can see that activation does not work, and that's because I did use a key that is a KMS key, but I don't have a KMS server. And the key ends with T83. So if I go to the GitHub page, it's the same key that I used in here. And that means that everything executed as intended and everything seems to be working just fine. And that's basically it for this video. Like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and see you in the next one.